Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 302 for December 26th, 2018. It's Boxing Day. Are you ready to be boxed?
Let's go. Come on. They don't have Boxing Day in Oregon, apparently.
You would think that we choreographed that. Except for Patrick, of course, who's
I'm sitting out.
too good to Macarena on camera. Well, that's fine, Patrick. That's just fine. My name is Russell Frost. I'm your host this evening for our hour-long adventure into the future of transportation and sustainable energy. With me, three of my very best friends. Maybe my only friends, truth is. It's the day after Christmas, so I'm just glad they're here. My wingman on this show, our man in Chicago, he has a slightly beer-scented Blackhawks sweater on tonight, but nonetheless, he is still Tony Shea.
Cracking open my beer for the show, and I love giving shout-outs. And this is Off Color Brewing in Chicago, except these guys got to watch about 3 minutes ago. I popped it open, and it just, and it's still going, by the way. So it might be ready to drink about halfway through the show at this problem. But Merry Christmas to all the Christmas celebrating friends. Happy Kwanzaa to those who celebrate that. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Wednesday to everyone else. How's that?
Solstice.
It's whatever. Yeah. Oh, it is the 26th, so the days are officially getting longer.
Yes,
that's
we got
true.
that going for us.
We gained, 30 seconds of sunlight today? Yeah, baby.
I'll take it.
Exactly. I'll take it too. Well, speaking of a man who's going to take sunlight, he is now the most sexily lit man on this show. I don't even know if sexily is a word, but I'm using it anyway. Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. And yes, that 30 seconds of daylight is really helping us all.
Yes.
We are really enjoying that extra warmth. We are well on our way into summer at this point.
I bought a pair of shorts today. How does that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the guy in California bought a pair of shorts. Yeah, right.
Nice.
Great pair of Pranas on sale. What can I say? And last and definitely not least, our man in the Pacific Northwest. We call him Mr. Patrick Connor.
Hello, everybody. As Tony said, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, happy solstice. The extra 30 seconds adds up and gets me a little more solar power each day. So I'm happy to see it.
It's like a nanowatt.
Yeah.
That's enough to run your cell phone for half a second.
Yeah.
Right.
You just plug it in, you hear that beep. Boom, that's it. You've used all that electricity.
Yes.
Yep,
And
I can
yeah,
plug in. Go ahead.
I was going to say, for those wondering, the extra 30 seconds hasn't reached Waterloo. Is
Not
why
yet. Yeah, still waiting.
why Mark's so dark.
Well, let's start off this week's news with a place that could use a little more sunshine than it's getting. And sadly, their world dimmed just a little bit more. Green Car Reports posted a story, in fact, 1 week ago, about the Chevrolet Volt and speculating whether or not there would be a successor because the factory is still, I forgot what the General Motors term was. Was it under advisement or something, under allotment?
Mm.
Yeah, or it's shuttered. They still own it. It's not shut down.
Right.
Well, it's
Right.
not being used, but it's kind of like on hold.
Yeah.
No build allotment has been assigned
To that factory.
Yeah.
So the factory sits idle. Which is probably the nicest way to put this. But the sad part is GM is cutting 50 jobs, and you're thinking 50 jobs, no big deal. 50 jobs at the Brownstown facility, which makes battery packs for the Volt.
Not looking good.
I would wait until we see the Detroit Auto Show. I'm holding out hope that there's going to be something announced, but I don't know.
Wow,
But if they're going to be
so
making
positive.
electric cars, they would have to. Why would you fire people that make battery packs?
Because it would be maybe a different battery pack.
We've seen, who was it? Hyundai that went to buying packs rather than making them. We just reported on this a little while ago. I think it was Hyundai.
Yeah. And of course, the Volt uses a different battery pack and architecture than the Bolt. So there are different packs. They are differently made. I don't know. I don't have any inside information, but I'm just kind of holding my breath until the Detroit Auto Show in January.
I would love to. If they're playing a game, I just don't like it, because in my opinion, it would be great if they said, here's what we're going to do, and this is why you should be excited about these changes that are coming.
Yeah.
Instead, there's some shuttering going on, there's some layoffs, and everyone's now going, what the hell? What are you doing? And if they do come out in January and say, oh, here's why that was necessary, I'm going to say, screw you. You know, you could have done this better.
Right.
And yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no good time of the year to get laid off, but right around the holidays is even worse.
Oh, yeah. Hey, nothing like getting that layoff notice the day before Christmas, knowing 2019 is going to suck. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like we kind of knew it, because they were saying, you know, that already that they weren't going to make the Volt anymore after March. So yeah, you're going to, there's layoffs coming. There's no doubt. But at DHAM, where the Volt is made in almost downtown Detroit, I'm sure that's not great news. And all the other lines that they have there, it's a swing line. They can make multiple cars on the same line, and all the cars are being removed.
So I'm going to ask the one question that no one else in the entire media landscape is asking. The one question: does this mean the Jolt will never happen?
well, now that could be part of the transition. You know, maybe that's why they need the new battery chemistry.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I wonder about these things.
I'm still holding out.
Mark, maybe that's your Detroit surprise.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
it's the Jolt.
Jolt has been introduced.
Yeah,
I still have a Jolt poster on my wall, just waiting and praying.
And our friend Matt has been raised to VP of the Jolt.
They could do worse than making the Jolt and hiring Matt. They could do a lot worse.
Right? I love both of those. They can hire Matt, and they could. I mean, okay, so it's a 2-door Volt, right? That would be like, well, thank God you cut the Volt. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good.
They made the ELR, which was a 2-door Volt, and they were not able to make that fly at the price that they put it out as.
Well, yeah, I got nothing there that anybody at GM wants to hear me say. So it's like, you know, what's the best way to kill something? Slap a Cadillac emblem on it. Ouch.
Ooh, Cadillac buyers are not known for their early adopter mentality.
Well, and yeah, who doesn't remember that horrible commercial for the, you know, just, yeah.
Poolside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know exactly where I'm going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on a more serious note, and sadly, you know, this time of year, I got to go there again. And you guys already mentioned it. My heart goes out to all the layoff workers who, in the worst possible month, got layoff notices and have no idea what their future is going to be. That's horrible. And aside from us not getting cars that we get really excited about, these people's whole lives are in turmoil. So, I don't know what else to say other than we hope they find something good soon, because this is not a good time to be unemployed.
Right. It never is. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. So, in all seriousness. No,
absolutely.
I agree with you.
I wasn't even going to make a joke, Tony.
I know you weren't, and that's why I kind of like wanted to like let everyone know that, hey, you know what, we're actually really serious here, and this all really sucks.
So one of the fun things about, you know, being on the show, well, there's a few fun things, but is the emails that go back and forth when we're putting the news together, and how all of us sort of take some more than others, but we retitle the news pieces just as a little, you know, introduction, as a teaser for us. And Tony's headline for this next story is just delightful. I'm going to read it. Quote, "Germans can sleep in on garbage day."
Because yeah, I mean that's what everyone wants, right?
Everybody wants to sleep in every day, sure.
Right.
Why not?
So yeah, what?
But why garbage day, Tony? Why garbage day?
Why garbage day? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to here I got to move windows around.
Do you need me to put something up?
I'm sharing a picture of a man looking out his window waiting for Santa.
Talk about I mean, like sexy hot lighting on a garbage truck, huh?
I know.
It is sexy hot lighting night.
Yeah. So why is that garbage truck blue? And that is because Volvo has recently introduced a new electric garbage truck called the Volvo FE Electric. And so it's going to get 125-mile range and specifically built for a quieter ride and fewer vibrations. You don't have the big diesel truck. It should be able to, maneuver around and not wake people up. Is really what it's designed for. Now you might be thinking, well, this is new, an electric garbage truck, but actually Volvo have the FL Electric, all electric truck for hauling things. 185-mile range, an electric motor, 185 kilowatts maximum power. So Volvo has been working in this area now for quite a while, creating all electric heavy trucks, just like another company that we know that's working on an all electric semi. But I just thought it was interesting because I get to hear the garbage truck every time it rolls around and picks up the garbage. And so now they can be electric.
That is really cool. And with a garbage truck route, you can dial the route in to match the range of the vehicle. Mm-hmm. So that works out really well. So it doesn't have to have 500-mile range.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Or worry about recharge rate or anything else, Right. And 185 miles in a garbage truck while it's doing its garbage truck thing, that's significant range.
Yeah, you would think that's beyond all day.
Yeah.
On a route.
I don't know. But yeah, that's a lot of range. We think 185 miles, that's nothing. That's not even half a tank of gas. That's a lot of range for an electric truck. And can I it's like, I know I'm not the only city dweller here, but as a city dweller, anything that lowers the noise floor of the city is a huge benefit. And one of the worst things in a city, garbage trucks and big haulers, big 18 wheels, they're loud, they're smelly. And they're loud. They're just horrible. Every time one drives by, the ground shakes and you hear it. Something that's a little quieter, it's a nice thing.
Yes. Now, of course, mentioned in the chat room, of course, the banging around of all the trash bins is still going to make noise. Can't really do anything about that. But at least you don't have the big, huge diesel engine, and hopefully not the air brakes. Sure, you can do better than that when you have an electric vehicle. So I just thought this was pretty cool. It's, we have talked many times about one area that really needs to be electrified are routed vehicles.
Yeah.
Garbage trucks, destination semis. What's that called? When they just go from like a distribution area to a facility. Didn't we talk about that before?
I don't remember.
Yeah, we've talked about that one.
Point to point.
Yeah.
Point to point.
Yeah, any of these trucks that are going through neighborhoods, especially, because then it's going right in front of your house and spewing pollution at you. So that's great to see, because that's exactly what these trucks do. They go around making noise and spewing pollution. I mean, yeah, we all need our garbage picked up, but hey, here's a whole lot better way to do it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we've seen postal carriers going electric. Just even on campuses, when you have the campus police, they don't have very far to range, but they need to get around, and they're going electric. So I just wanted to talk about this article and just bring to light the fact that we're seeing these routed vehicles going electric, because like Russell said, they don't need 500 miles. They just 150 would be fine for their day, and we know it's going to be parked overnight. That's awesome.
Yeah, what's the average speed of a garbage truck? It's got to be like 4 miles an hour at most.
At most,
yeah.
I mean, they definitely spend more than half their time sitting there, and they accelerate, to the next two houses, you know.
Right, and all the time they're idling.
Right.
So they're just spewing pollution
Mhm.
nonstop, sitting in your neighborhood.
Every time they move a little, either they're picking up a dumpster or
Yep.
they're mashing stuff. What happens? They rev the engine because that powers the hydraulics. So it's you hear the noise, and again, more pollution. You know, there's a better way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do it the better way.
We need this to catch on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Good story, Tony.
Yeah.
Nice job. I'm feeling good about the garbage. So Tony has the next story too. And I have to admit, I wasn't able to divine the theme, but I'm supposed to remind you.
Yeah.
So consider yourself reminded and take it away, Tony.
Yes. So I have been reminded that Philip Barclay shared this with us in with the What Drives Us magazine on Flipboard.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, thanks. If you use Flipboard as your...
I use Flipboard. Oh, sorry.
Oh my God. Wow. If you use Flipboard as a news aggregator, be sure to look for the What Drives Us magazine, where you'll find all the articles we talk about on the show,
Including the new mic.
Including you muted your mic.
He muted himself.
You self-muted.
I had no idea. I was clicking. I was like, my Windows went nuts on me there for a second.
Yeah.
So
We saw the car. We lost your voice. It was
whatever. So this is the cutest little EV that is just now coming on the market. And yeah, so this is a German company called E.Go, and they're releasing this hatchback. Now, here's the thing. They're kind of being touted as a Tesla challenger. I'm not going to say a Tesla killer because no one's going to kill Tesla. But they're taking the absolute opposite approach here. And what they're doing is, rather than bringing high-end, very expensive cars to the market that promise all the bells and whistles, they're taking the exact opposite approach. And as a German automobile manufacturer, I guess they can get away with just producing appliances. Yeah, that was a bit of a dig on the German population. So here's what happened. They started with a mail carrier because the German postal service was looking for an electric delivery vehicle, just like we were talking about. So we're keeping on that theme. So E.Go came up with this bare bones mail carrier, and it had no air conditioning, and it was absolutely bare bones. It had no radio, and a top speed of less than 80 kilometers an hour. They didn't expect it to go far, but it turns out that it was a huge hit, and they're selling like hotcakes to postal carriers all around Germany. So they're taking the exact same approach with this car. It's a cute little thing, but it is very bare bones. So it's not targeting the high-end market. Like I said, it's targeting the intro market, people who just want an electric vehicle, and they don't need, again, all the bells and whistles. But what's really interesting is the guy, the founder, whose name I'm trying to find, Gunther Schuh. That's S-C-H-U-H. Pronounce it however you will. He said he needed Tesla as a role model. So no startup or individual entered this Shark Tank alone, and it was great to get a demonstration of how it might work. So what he's been doing is watching Tesla, and he's been looking at everything that Tesla does right and all the little steps that Tesla could have done better. And one of the things that he's come up with is the idea that instead of promising and implementing a whole lot of things, use the Tesla model to mass produce electric vehicles, but take a lot of the, let's say, the sensors and the software and all that stuff out of it, and just produce a reliable, inexpensive electric vehicle. So that's what he's doing.
I wish him luck. I think that the bare bones model makes sense for fleet managers when they're looking at buying cars. I don't know how well that's going to play with the public. But hey, the more the merrier. Maybe he'll find a niche and it'll sell well there. I don't see it, but there's a lot more people other than me that buy cars. So maybe he'll find something I don't see.
Yeah. My fear with this is that this is a global car, not an American car. And it's not that it couldn't be an American car. It could be. And it would be great if Americans had a nice entry-level option. But because of the distances here, and we just had this. Did we have this conversation? Forgive me, like the holidays have scrambled my brain, but we just had this conversation on the show, or was it off the show, about the average size of the American fleet? You know what? I think it was off the show. Ed Niedermeyer and I were talking about it. And the problem is the American personal auto fleet is so large, and I don't mean numerically, I mean size-wise.
Yeah, Americans buy big cars.
Since 2000 and the last huge gas craze, 2006? And then the economy crashed, and all of a sudden SUVs were dirty word and nobody wanted them. Since then, that market has grown steadily, eating away at other sectors of the car market. So that, I hate to say this. I could remind, okay. But by the time you get this thing on the road, it just can't compete. It's going to get run over, and that's not fair, and that's bullshit, because the American car fleet should be smaller on average because these cars are cool. But right now, no.
But I don't think this is an American car. It's a German manufacturer. I think he's making cars specifically, primarily for Germany, but I do think it'll spill over into other European countries, India, and I don't know if it's, maybe we'll get them into China eventually. Sure. But no, in no way do I think that this is going to especially this particular 2-door 4-seater is going to come into the United States.
Well, I mean, they're talking about the base model of this bad boy costing about 18 grand American, which that is super attractive. Mm-hmm. Even though, again, we're limited. I mean, we're talking about not a super powered car. Okay. I would say underpowered, if anything. The range isn't exactly huge, but that's okay, because maybe I don't need that much range. Maybe I'd rather save 10 grand on the car.
Yeah, we're looking at one of the range, the 60 watt is 158 kilometers, top speed of 152 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, which is
it's not a muscle car, it's not a luxury car. It's not going to drive Mark from Waterloo to Orlando.
No.
But you see could you see a fleet of these things zipping around downtown Paris or London instead of all the other cars that are zipping around downtown Paris and London? I mean, this would be great.
It'd be a great commuter car. Like you said, urban mobility. If you have something like a zip car that complements it, or some other car that you can use, borrow from a friend, rent, whatever, for when you need longer range trips, this could be a good first car.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so like Patrick said, I mean, I wish him luck, and that's it's why we talk about these things, because I want to make a note of this and come back in a year and see how they're doing.
I agree. It's cool. I just wish it was more practical. I'm going to go down a road I don't want to go down. You know what? Can I change the subject for a minute?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Mark.
Yes.
I forgive me, because I didn't get to see the Tesla Life tonight, which, by the way, you should. I know.
You weren't there?
I wasn't there.
But it's more offensive that he didn't watch it. I mean, come on.
If I was able to watch it, it would have been offensive that I didn't participate in it. But I wasn't able to watch it, so I couldn't participate in it. Is the whole point. But my question is, you just finished a pretty epic trip.
I did.
Do we get any kind of was this?
Oh, we had spreadsheets and slideshows.
He glossed all over that.
Okay. So I'm going to cede the floor for a few minutes to Mr. Mark Coughlin, who's going to tell us about his epic Tesla Model 3 trip.
I took my Tesla Model 3 in late December and decided to take my entire family to Orlando. A
that'll never work.
A 2,165 kilometer route, or 1,345 miles.
Well, which is it?
Well, it was both.
Oh,
Depends on which way you're going.
oh, right.
It depends on the audience I'm talking to. Yes, yeah. So it was an epic run. It was. I tip my hat to Tesla. The car, its trip navigation computer worked flawlessly. It enabled me to stop at the right places for the right amount of time. I did put a buffer in each time of about 10%. I wanted a buffer of 10%. And the car reacted as it should. And I got to the right destinations at the right times and had the right charge to make it to the next charging spot. We didn't run nonstop. This is like a 20-hour drive if you do it nonstop. But we stopped overnight near the north side of Chattanooga, which is about halfway.
Right.
And then continued on the next day. And then on the way home, we ran into some difficulties in Atlanta on I-75. There was a huge traffic jam. We were in it for over an hour and ended up spending the night again at the same place in north of Chattanooga. And then the next day we got all the way back. So it was interesting. It was interesting. It was fun. And it was fairly uneventful, which was great.
Yeah, and as the infrastructure rolls out more, trips like this will just get easier. Like you said, you stopped for the night, and if you had destination overnight charging, that would have been one less stop on the road trip the next day. So it's only going to get easier and easier.
Exactly. So, and just if people are interested, here's a screenshot of the different stops that were made at the superchargers along the way. Down and back. They're all the same places. I hit the same places going down as I did coming back. And the amounts that showed up on my screen that I will be charged with. Interesting enough, Lima, Ohio on the way down, I didn't get a charge. But the car charged, but I didn't get charged the monetary amount on my screen.
You got a charge.
Yeah. But it may show up later. It may not. I'm going to keep my eye on my Visa bill and see if it does show up. But it was kind of a cool experience. And really, it does. To be honest, it does take a little bit longer than what I'm used to in a gasoline car. I guess I would drive longer distances without stopping, even to the complaints of my family. But but with this, when you have to stop, you got to stop. So you know what? You get out, you walk around, you take a washroom break, you get something to eat, and then you pile back in the car and head for the next leg. But it wasn't too bad at all. I would happily do it again, and I was glad for the experience this time.
Now, Mark, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Put the map back up, if you would.
Yep.
And this is a serious question. I noticed
coming from Tony.
I know, right? Hey, that's why I had to preface it.
What next? Jeez.
No, it's that I noticed that you went west around the lake instead of going east. You went west down Lake Erie instead of heading over and then maybe shooting straight down from Cleveland.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to Cleveland, Tony.
No, I realize
there is another route that goes by Pittsburgh.
And Pittsburgh, but I mean,
drops down and basically connects with Savannah, Georgia, and then heads into Orlando that way.
Yes,
and to be honest, it's slightly faster,
and it's prettier.
but the problem is that area in North and South Carolina got slapped with snow the day we were leaving. So I said, you know what? I'm taking I-75 because there's less snow.
Okay. See, so I was wondering if it was supercharger availability or speed, or so I was just wondering what your
yeah, it was a winter storm that hit them 2 days before we left. And I said, you know what? Instead of dealing with possibilities, I'm just going to take the route that's slightly longer, but I know is dry.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a video not too long ago of a guy in his Model 3 in a Mark's supermarket parking lot trying to do donuts. I think the 3 can handle a little bit of snow.
I was scared about the falling telephone poles and trees and other problems that they were experiencing in North Carolina.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
Oh, and there's Danny there, right?
And Danny Cooper.
Oh, Danny Cooper too. Yeah.
I do have to admit, I'm a little impressed, Mark. I mean, you stopped your car, your family got out ostensibly and walked around and did God knows what and survived in Lake City, Florida. Not once, but twice. Lake City, Florida. I'm surprised the car wasn't stripped and sold for parts.
It was a pleasant experience, Russell. I guess that area of Lake City was fine. Yeah.
How many bags of crack did you buy?
There was no crack purchased on the road.
Oh, sure there wasn't.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. I lived in Florida. I'm just going to say that I did. I know Florida. Well, you know what? So, and am I looking at the numbers right? Did you spend like $105 on fuel?
Yeah, $105 in electricity.
2,500 miles?
No, 1,345 miles. One way.
Each way.
One way. Yeah, each way.
Excuse me, almost 2,700 miles.
Yeah,
for $100.
Well, $100 each way, so $200, or it would have been. No, you're right.
No, it was
$100 both ways.
It was round trip.
A little bit over 110.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's about 75% less than fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what to say. So? I mean, obviously, your family's still together.
We're still all together.
The 4 of you in the Model 3 for 2 days. Wasn't the end of the world?
No, it wasn't the end of the world.
Wow.
Comfortable and no complaints or
no complaints. We had an argument here and there. As you do when you're in a car for 48 hours.
Okay.
He's touching me. He's making faces
over
at me.
2 days. Yeah.
See, now that you brought this up, what were you arguing about?
I don't know. Maybe the place to eat. That might have came up once. Yeah.
Asking did they ask like, is this really Diet Pepsi? Because it says Diet Pepsi.
No, it's American food.
Yeah. I don't want any of that eeny food.
And they said, hey, Dad, down here they all speak one language, but none of them well.
We kept a low profile, Tony. We were in a foreign country.
That's smart.
Now with those license plates, you didn't have a low profile.
We were not making a scene anywhere. We were just staying low profile.
You're lucky they didn't build a wall while you were down here.
Yeah.
We were hoping that wouldn't happen. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was fun. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mark. I appreciate that. Because I had to admit I was personally curious. Clean Technica this week, someone named Michael Barnard published a story whose headline was, and I quote, "Should you buy a hydrogen car? Ask yourself these simple questions." And interestingly enough, the first question isn't, are you a fucking idiot?
I was going there just to see that, yes.
And it's a little decision tree, and when it says start, of course, there's a little thing, hydrogen fueling station nearby? Yes or no? Oh, well, that's actually the salient question, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the second question is assuming yes, love clicks and pumping sounds. Well, yeah, that's part of it. Certainly. Yes, maybe. Love inconvenience.
If you love inconvenience, keep going.
Yeah, now it's going to get a little more personal. Do you have $60,000 for obsolete technology?
Jeez.
Wow. Wow. The next one just pretty much just curb stomps them. Chaotic hydrogen psychological issue. Look, it just gets worse and worse from there. But really, the point is just there isn't a decision tree unless you work for the hydrogen manufacturing company or the company that makes the hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. There isn't really a decision tree that leads to yes in any way.
See, what really surprises me in this is that you have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to get to decision tree number 7 before you actually get to the consult your mental health.
Right.
Your mental health professional.
It took 7 stages to get there.
Yeah, like Russell said, that should have been number 1. And then, then the very last one is: have you driven a real EV?
I'm no fan of hydrogen cars. We've talked about that extensively on here, but I'm going to disagree with this. So I don't think that Toyota or Honda or Hyundai or anybody should be making them for passenger vehicles. It's ridiculous. If you have a bus route or something where you can have fixed refueling stations or a ferry or something like that, then maybe that makes sense.
Totally.
But if you happen to live in California or somewhere where they have these fuel stations deployed and you live near one and you get a great lease deal and it comes with 3 years of free fuel and you want to, and you like the styling of the car, as a consumer, I would say that's not a bad choice. If you can get a great deal on it and it meets your needs, who are they to say that you're stupid for it or that you need to check with your mental health professional?
Russell is right there.
Patrick Connor, I want to ask you a series of leading questions.
All
so
right.
let's pretend you lived in Torrance. Let's pretend your house was right across the street from the refilling station.
Okay.
Let's pretend you could get a lease for a competitive rate. Are you telling me that you would buy that over an electric car?
No, I would not. I love my Tesla. It's a great car. I drive it down to San Diego every summer for Comic-Con. I could not do that in a hydrogen car.
No.
But that doesn't. But again, if that meets somebody's needs and they are happy with it, then more power to them.
I just think we have to keep reminding people that hydrogen is not a fuel. It's not an energy source.
Storage.
It's an energy storage. Exactly. We have yet, as a human race, species, civilization, establish a means at which we can get at least the equal amount of energy out of hydrogen that was required to rip the hydrogen away from the oxygen molecule that it was at one point attached to.
Right.
You
Yes.
lose energy in the entire process.
Right.
I totally agree. Yeah. If you just look at energy, electric vehicles are far more efficient than gas cars, far more efficient than hydrogen cars. And if you're an industrial planner or you're looking at how you manage some alternative fuel budget and you look at how much it costs to put in a hydrogen fueling station, you should not be subsidizing those. So I'm not saying, oh yeah, they're just as good as EVs. I'm saying if you're a consumer and you are looking at your options and that fits your needs and you're happy with it, that doesn't make you stupid for buying it. Now, if you're the car company and you're making it, or if you're the councilman spending the city's dollars on infrastructure and you're putting 80% of your budget into one fueling station for hydrogen cars, yes, I'll call you stupid. But I'm not going to say that about the person buying the car.
Okay, whatever.
You guys can. I'm not saying you can.
We can.
Very narrow financial calculus that Patrick is applying to this decision.
And even
Go ahead.
No, yeah, even in my argument that you lose energy creating hydrogen and then reusing hydrogen, if that is an acceptable loss and you need to store the sunshine, we talk about storing solar into batteries, but if you don't have batteries and you're going to use the solar to create hydrogen, store the hydrogen, maybe transport the hydrogen and use the hydrogen somewhere else, then maybe that is an acceptable story. I just don't see it for cars, consumer cars.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick.
Okay.
You've disagreed with me. You bring up a story.
Oh, I don't have a story. I have no stories today. No, sorry.
Did we already talk? I thought you had one you wanted to talk about.
No.
No,
I didn't do my homework for today's show. Sorry.
No. I don't mean to do that at all to you. Mr. Coughlin.
I have a story.
I bet you do.
It's got something to do with a Chevy Volt.
Oh no!
So it's a good news story. Unlike the previous Chevy Volt story, I wanted to bring up my Volt use over the past year and a half.
Oh, neat.
So I'm logging on to voltstats.net. If you want, anyone can log in and see all the different volts that are connected to it, the thousands of them. And I just wanted to show that since I've owned my EV a little bit over a year and a half now, my Chevy Volt 2017 model, I have driven it 96.4% as an EV.
Ooh, neat.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And mileage on total mileage is 19,836 miles. And on EV, 19,129.
Jesus.
So I'm basically, 600 miles on fuel.
That's
over
so
the entire
beautiful.
length of owning the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone that says that a Chevy Volt is not a true EV, they don't know what they're talking about, because this
It's a
car
hybrid, not a true EV.
This car has basically only burnt 3.5 tanks of fuel in its life. And down here, we've got a little mileage chart that shows the green EV, and of course the blue is the gasoline. So it's been a spectacular car. I'm sad to see that it's being eliminated.
Yeah.
I understand why it's being eliminated.
I don't.
You can even see from these figures as to why it may be eliminated, because I'm not driving it on gas anyways. Extreme low amount. Extreme low.
Yeah, but GM doesn't make gas. I mean, I don't understand this.
But the problem is, Tony, is that you've got 2 propulsion systems built into the car, which obviously costs more than 1 propulsion system. So that means their profit is less.
Okay, so if they replace the Volt with a pure EV Volt, then yes, that would be awesome.
And GM has said that they will introduce 20 vehicles by 2023. They haven't said where those vehicles will be introduced. Could be China, could be North America, could be both. We don't know what it is, but they have said that they're going to double down on electric vehicles. We'll have to wait and see if that is the actual case. But right now, I will be keeping my Volt. It will be the second car at our house. And as you can see, it has no problem being an EV almost all the time.
Yeah,
nice.
That's great. So if you drive it long enough, it doesn't let the fuel age too much, does it? I mean, doesn't it at some point kick in the generator whether you wanted it to or not?
Well, there's 2 scenarios. After 42 days of inactivity, the car will run an energy cycle, or a maintenance cycle, which will take approximately 3 minutes of time, and it'll burn maybe a quarter of a liter of fuel, something along that line. And no, I don't know what that is in gallon.
It's a quarter. It's about
a quarter of a liter is very small.
Yeah.
And then after 1 year, if the tank has not dropped to about half a tank, then it will burn off that half tank after a year of not being used.
Damn it. I thought for sure. I was really hoping you were going to say it just jettisons the fuel.
It shoots it across the road as you're driving. Yeah.
I love that idea.
It feels crap now, and it just dumps it.
I wonder if you could trick it, like siphon it out and then fill it back up, and it thinks it got new fuel.
You can trick it, because, of course, if the volume of fuel is low in the tank, you can add new fuel to it, and it changes the equation, so it goes longer. But you could also siphon the fuel out, and it wouldn't have to burn as much. But that's crazy talk. Like, you've got the fuel tank there; it's to be used. I get it. You don't want to have stale fuel in a tank after a year, even though it's a pressurized tank. It's got to get rid of it.
Right.
So that's really cool.
It couldn't be used for something good.
No, it can't.
But you know what? The sad part is I remember talking about the Volt before it was a reality. Sometime in between, it was like a blocky looking sports car that Maximum Bob thought it was going to be and what it turned out to be. And I remember but it's the horrible thing about this is the MPG is so low that they're predicting. And we know that people are going to be lazy and it's going to be like, what are we going to hope for? 60% EV miles? And we know that nationwide, that globally, the Volt EV to gas ratio is so much lower, gas miles wise, is very similar to your use pattern. Most people keep them charged, drive within that range, and almost never use gasoline. Whether or not it's an EV or not isn't the point. The point is that functionally, they're using it as an EV.
Yeah.
And that 10 gallons of gas is not the end of the world, or whatever the gas tank is.
It's a nice safety net.
Yeah.
So they started selling these in December 2010. There was not a lot of infrastructure out there at that time. So that car made perfect sense then. You could plug it in at home. You could drive wherever you wanted. You could fill up with gas if you needed. And if you're commuting back and forth, you're plugging in your garage, you didn't have to worry about infrastructure. So I think for a lot of people that today, even that would still be a great solution. So I'm really sad to see it go.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, arguing the semantics about whether it is or isn't an EV, it's a plug-in hybrid, and that's a good thing, and that should be embraced by some people who need that support because they don't have the infrastructure around them to do it. So it's really too bad it's going away.
Yeah, I mean, is it better that they buy a Volt or they buy, a Chevy Malibu? Well, the answer is easily, the Volt's way better.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just aside from the fact that it's a much better car. It's weird to, it's not weird. I get it, but wow. Chevrolet cutting what is pretty much universally recognized as a good car. There's a car they made that was good, that was well engineered.
Yeah. And had support of all its people that bought it. Like it was the most, it was the group of people that bought the car rallied behind that car so much. And they stuck with the name, the type of car, and they had a huge cheering squad behind them. GM
would never take a car that people love and crush it. Yeah, destroy it.
I can see the parallels. It's not that bad, but yeah, I can see how the argument could be made. But I really hope, I'm holding out hope that there is going to be something introduced shortly. I really hope Chevy doesn't drop the ball on this and introduce some more electric cars in the North American market.
So is this like one of these commercials that starts with real people, not actors?
No.
and you've got the guy that says, well, what if I told you could drive 98% electricity? And people are like, oh my God, that would be great. But if you need to go farther, there's a gas tank to help you get to where your destination is. And they're like, oh my God, that's great. And then he opens the wall opens up and there's a Volt being crushed.
Oh.
And he says, and we're stopping production of that vehicle right now.
Yeah.
That would be an awesome commercial. I would love to see that commercial.
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare.
Yeah. This is not GM's finest moment.
I do love that. Real people, not actors. Just like, right. Oh, we have 5 Chevy Volt owners here, and we wanted to show them the future of the Chevy Volt as 5 cement blocks crush their cars.
Oh, you're terrible.
Here's your brand new Cruise. Oh. Okay, enough of that. That's all I got. Anybody else? No. Having heard nothing from the floor, I call this meeting adjourned. Let's do some shout-outs and go home. Mark Coughlin.
If you're in the Waterloo region area or would like to follow our group on Twitter, just go to WREVA Group and sign up and see our updates throughout the year.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Mr. Connor.
Hello. If you are in the Oregon region, I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And we're on Facebook and Twitter, and we have a mailing list. You can sign up for all those there at our website. And I occasionally write at carswithcords.net. I've got a story coming up on the Tesla tax credit and what's going to happen in January and how it might not be that bad depending on your income situation.
When is this going to hit?
Probably January 2nd.
Which means he already has it scheduled, folks. January 2nd. Okay, I can't wait because I feel like we're going to argue about this.
All right, cool.
Tony Schaefer.
Hey, as usual, shout outs to everyone who's in the chat room. Yeah, again, once again, I always say this. I mean, I love the international flavor of everyone in the chat. You have 2 minutes starting the clock. If you have a show title you want to shout out, then go ahead and put it in the chat room. I don't think we have anything going yet. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, maybe this is the first time you're stumbling upon the What Drives Us show, go to What Drives Us at youtube.com. That's youtube.com/whatdrivesus. Make sure you hit subscribe, and if you hit the notification bell, then you'll be notified whenever we start another show. I mentioned Flipboard. If you use Flipboard, look for the What Drives Us show. Philip Barclay does a good job of throwing some news articles. This is where you'll find all the articles we talk about on the show. Russell knows all the other social media stuff.
There you go. That's my job.
Yes,
that's what I do. I want to double up on the shout out to the chat room. As always, thank you, chat room. Don't crush my Volt. See, now if I do hydrogen fuel cells, Patrick will be angry that I'm picking on the wrong party, and he'll be partially correct, although we disagree with this narrow sort of definition of good. But that's okay. If Patrick and I agree on too much, Armageddon. So that's you better hope we keep arguing. I do like Don't Crush My Volt, though. That's good. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for our amazing theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy his CDs on anywhere but CD Baby, because CD Baby sucks. You guys laugh at that. You don't even know.
So do you think there's a parallel universe out there somewhere where someone traded in their EV1 for their Volt?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there are plenty of people who used to drive EV1 who now have a Volt. And they're crying.
They're not going to get crushed. You get the Volt.
Right?
They can't take it away from you. It's yours.
Yeah. I know that they're not crushing to the Volt, but it's just as bad when they stop making them.
No, it's not just, it's worse.
It's
when they take it away and crush it.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, my Volt disappears. Yeah, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
My friend Travis just bought a Volt last week, and he loves it.
We left to check. It's okay. So Don't Crush My Volt is the winner so far. Visit us at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. Visit us on Twitter at @whatdrivesus. Of course, patreon.com. You can support this show, and we need your support. We're trying to get to, look at right now, we get $14 a month from Patreon.
Oh, hey, that's
nice.
All of us. Yeah, so when you wonder about the huge piles of cocaine you see, about the luscious clothes, the jewelry, Mark Coughlin's sexy lighting.
You've got there.
Yeah. You wonder, we're rolling in your jack, okay?
I mean, Mark blows through $14 of Diet Tape Pepsi a month.
Yeah, and
that's paid for one of his charging sessions.
And that's in Canadian.
That's Canadian. That's right.
So we just need a few of you to cough up $1 a month. $1 a month. We get to $20, then we can hire another company. Maybe we get more than that, and we can do some other fun stuff. So that's really what we're trying to do. Get some better web hosting and all that. Patreon.com/whatdrivesusshow. Let me say that twice. Patreon.com/whatdrivesusshow. As little as $1 a month.
How about a shirt?
How about a shirt? You can go to Zazzle.com/whatdrivesus, and you can buy shirts, mugs, hats. I don't have underwear, but you could probably have underwear made. The logo's there. God knows why you want to wear underwear.
Please don't.
Phone cases, beer koozies, you name it. License plate frames. We have all kinds of stuff. Now, because I'm a realist, because I like to. Is that stuff hideously overpriced? Yes, it is. It's crazy. But know that a huge portion of that comes to us to help support the show. So you're not just buying cheap crap. You're helping support the show and buying cheap crap.
See, we should have really hit this angle harder before Christmas. If you need a white elephant gift,
I will understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the LA Auto Show, I had two auto executives say they'd watch the show. First time in 9 years anyone's ever even admitted that we were a thing. So I almost had a stroke twice. But, and one of them was from a major. That blew me away. So, jump on Zazzle.com/what drives us and buy some fun stuff and support the show if you like. Otherwise, just watch us.
Yeah.
That's all I got. My thanks to Patrick Connor, Tony Schaefer, and Mark Coughlin for coming on the show on Boxing Day instead of boxing.
Boxing. I'm done. I won my bout.
Did you? Mm-hmm. I don't think my cat's going to get out until next Christmas. So I just wanted to let you know I followed the Boxing Day tradition.
Your cat Schrodinger. Is that?
Yeah, no one's surprised. I think we'll be back next week. I have to look at the calendar real quick. Are we going to be back next? Yes. January 2nd. Look for us. Same bat time, same bat channel, as they say.
New bat the year.
Yeah, it'll be a whole new year, though. So until then, warm wishes to all of you out there for a happy end of your holiday season and for a happy and safe new year. Tune in next week and find out what drives us. I can't be as sexy as Mark looks. That's the thing.
That's not possible.
It's not. It's not. Mark looks awesome, and I want to sound like Barry White, but no, I can't.
Put Russell in romance mode.
I got to change my whole lighting thing now. Thanks, Mark. Hey, have a great and very safe New Year. Drive safe out there. Okay, can't afford to lose any of you people. See ya.